Louis 1991. How many how many of you guys out there have heard the expression "we are going to hell" or "go to hell"? Hell exists. Hell that. Hell this. Hell whatever. Man, that's how religion have a strong grip on us, and they always had that word. They have convinced us that if we behave bad, we go to hell, and if we behave good, we go to the heavens. But they will leave you at that, okay? And then each one of us will start using our imagination, because that's what they do. They misdirect you. That's what religion does. So then you start thinking, man, I can't do this because if I do this, I might go to hell. Oh, I'm gonna serve these people because I might go to heaven, or it's extra points for me, or whatever. And that's how most people think, okay? But what they don't know is the truth, okay? This is the truth. Hell was just a word back in the days of the Son of God, the Nazareth. It was just a word, just an expression like we use today as any other words. I can't come up with one right now, but you guys know what I mean. Well, the thing is that back in those days, people, when they used to get sick with lepra and with leper, when they used to get sick with leper, there was no way to throw the carcass, the dead body. They didn't have any other place then, and it was a big hole. They used to have this big hole where they used to have fire burning all the time, and this hole used to be called the Gehenna, and they used to throw their animals and dead people, garbage, and it was a dump, okay? It was a dump on fire. So people, the nickname of that hole of the Gehenna was hell. And and at the time when the apostles used to go to the caves, when they started running from the Romans, they used to hide in caves, and they used to write their books, the scrolls of the Hebrew Bible, and they used to hide in caves, and some of them used to explore the caves, and they would go as deep as they could. And at the time when year passed and they came out, when everything was cool, other people and family members and friends would ask them, how was it in the cave? How was there to live? And they would talk about it. They would say, well, I searched the cave and I went in all the way in deep, really deep, and I saw entities there. They would see extraterrestrials beings that lived underground, and they would say it's like hell. It's like hell down there. And why? Because it's hot. The more you go into the center of the earth, the more heat you're gonna feel. And that's the way it was, and that's why they started using some people started using the word hell, and they believe that hell is under the earth and heavens is up there in the sky. And this is the other thing, heavens. Most people believe that, religious people believe, that if you die, if you behave good, you will go to heaven. You'll go where God is. But they got no clue what they're talking about. I don't know what they call heaven, but I know what heaven is. And heaven is space. Okay? And Like I said before, God is an entity from another dimension, and human body has nowhere to fit in a dimension like the one that God lives, or the celestial people. The fallen ones, when they came from the heavens and resided in this earth, and were imprisoned in this planet, um, God Yahweh said to Satan that this was going to be his kingdom. Along with them, they brought technology, because that's what they have. They have ancient technology that for us humans we cannot comprehend. So there was no word for this technology back then. It was just magic. Okay, it was just magic for us, and it was spirits for us, and it was all sort of things that we didn't understand back then. Wheels of fire, balls of fire falling from the heavens. Uh, and what we call those things today, laser beams, and we call them today UFOs, and the chariot of fire. We call them today technology, because yes, it's possible to be invisible. It's possible to dematerialize yourself. It's possible. And there's energies in this planet that humans don't have knowledge of, that we can use for, to as a common tool. But they don't let us know about that. They don't talk about that, because humans are capable of doing a lot of things that we don't know. Okay, switching the knot a bit. I had a person sending me a message. She asked me, um, what can we do to separate ourselves from this world order? What can we do to not accept the Illuminati's money? What can we do? That's a good question. I never thought no one would ask me that. But this is what I've done. It's really hard, because you live in a place where everything is symbols. Everything belongs to the secret society. Everything is controlled by them. Every politician, every cops, um, even secret little groups of secret societies in our towns and cities, and it's controlled by the Illuminati. And how can we be away from that? How can we stay a part of that? I mean, away. I don't like talking about my personal things that I've done in the past, but I will share this with you. One thing I did that no one didn't understand at the beginning when I did this is that I gave up a house. Okay, I gave up a house, and it was a big house, and it was very expensive, and I didn't want I didn't want anything to do with it. So I just went the humble way. I live in a small apartment, and that's where I feel happy at. I had family members and friends who had houses, not as big as the one I had, but they were always in a pressure of in a bad mood, because they knew they had to pay the taxes every year. Let me explain something. Back in the if I'm not mistaken, back in the 1940s, 1930s, 1940s, somewhere around there, regular citizens didn't pay taxes for their property. They didn't pay taxes. Why would they pay taxes for their own property? Yeah, today we do. Why? Because the government took over your property. So what I'm saying is, if you buy a house, that house is not yours. You just uh, you're just renting that house from the government. That's what you're doing. No matter how many thousands of dollars have you paid for that house, or millions, it's never going to be yours. Because once you stop paying your taxes to the government yearly of that house, it'll be taken away from you. As a matter of fact, you can't do anything to your house before the city knows about it. You got to go to the city hall and tell them what your plans that what you want to extend to your house. If it was your house, you just do it in period. It's yours. Can't even put a let's say an old car in front of your house, because then you're going to have the city asking you to remove it. See, that's not your property. In the time of Moses, or his real name, Mohesh, in the time of Mohesh, God gave properties to each one of the Hebrews, and there was acres and acres and acres of for each one of them, and they would do as they pleased, because the planet was meant to be fulfilled by humans. And they, that's how they did cities, and they started doing their own uh, uh, you know uh, the way they lived. It was great. They had more freedom back then than what we have today. Today we live suppressed. We live suppressed by this secret society that is managing our lives every day. If you have a house, you have to pay. Even if you have a rent, you have to go to work and work and work, sometimes more than 40 hours a week, to just pay at least your mortgage, your payments, your bills, your utilities. The list keeps going on and on and on. It's enough to maintain you, to be a slave. When God created Adam and Eve, they were meant to live free. Free. All they had to do is take care of the planet and the animals. That was it. There was no slavery. It was freedom. But once they sinned, God condemned them, that they had to work. Because what they did, what they have done. So Adam and Eve had to work. They had to work, but for themselves, not for anyone else. And if they have to eat, they have to cultivate their own food. And that's the work they were talking about back in those days. Not working for anyone or for money, but for yourself and your family, to maintain them. They had properties, unimaginable properties, that they were so huge, but it was theirs because God had gave them to them. Each one human back those days had properties. Everyone. Today is not like that. There's many people out there who doesn't have a thing because they can't afford it. Because it's all an agenda. It's all masterminded. So the best way to keep away from the Illuminati's money, what I do is I work, and most of the time when I work, I just work for food, for things, and I work for just to maintain myself and my family. And the people that I work for are very nice people, and they believe that that is the true way of working. Cap and trade. Grow your own food. All these things. That's the way that should be in a human being. I'm not saying leave your work and start doing these things. I'm just saying how it was back in the days and how it's supposed to be. The truth. If you want to keep away from this world order, this new world order, from this triangle gods of the Illuminati, or for the secret society itself, and if you say you do love the Son of God, and if you say you do love God, it's up to you. It's up to you what you want to do with your life. I know what I did, and what I have done, and there's nothing in this world that's going to change that. And for me, all I'm going to do is keep looking for the truth. And the only way to get to the truth is by knowing the true name of God, Yahweh, through Isha, his son. God bless all those seeking the true name of Yahweh through his son, Isha. Bye.